And before we get started on our Jungles of Delthrak game, we've got to address the Oliphant in the room, I think, because you had this recent leak. I considered a leak, an alleged leak of two of the Wizards of Morcar miniatures, and it was posted actually pretty early in the day. I mean, it's about 7 p.m., 10 after 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it was like in the morning hours. Someone posted this from Facebook, so I guess it's been around for maybe all day long. But welcome to our heroes. If you're wanting to join us, feel free to jump into HeroQuest Fans Discord and join the voice channel Quest Talk. If you want to control a hero, and if you want to lurk in the Twitch chat, that's fine. You can help the heroes or the villains out with your channel points, your gold coins as we play. But first, let's get a little talking in here. So we've got Bohemius and we got Jacer. Welcome, guys. So my question is, and sorry, I'm actually finishing up some food here as you talk. Have you seen the leak, and what were your thoughts on it? Silly question, I know.
Oh yeah, I'm one of the guy analyze the picture all day.
All right, I'm gonna post it up.
Yeah,
If you don't want to see spoilers, close your eyes. All right. So this image was posted in yieldin.com forums by Hispazargon, and I forget who posted first in HeroQuest Fans Discord. Was it Merlin? I thought it was Merlin, but
yeah.
several people commented.
Originally was in the. I'm not watching the forum, but I was watching the Discord, and there Hispazargon put the photo.
Because it seemed like kind of out of nowhere, people started talking about AliExpress like a couple weeks ago. And it was like, oh man, AliExpress, get everything on AliExpress, whoa! You know, I hadn't even thought about the sites probably since it came online first. I mean, anytime I've tried to look for anything cool on there, I've never found anything. So, I don't know. People are just like trolling it all day long looking for stuff. But I always got the impression it was like Temu. I mean, the stuff is like questionable quality, questionable legality. It's cheap though. I mean, even with tariffs. But yeah, this image, I wanted to be very skeptical. I just threw up a quick I threw up a quick video talking about it with my hot take. But I mean, already you guys were posting stuff like as I was making it, saying stuff like, "Oh, that figure on the far left looks like the same pose as the wizard from the card, like from the character board from the original HeroQuest, except the cape billowing to the side is kind of more like the miniature." But that sort of corresponds with Doug's, focus on getting the designs more like classic designs, even though they're brand new, like the pose of the First Light Elf, and wanting to make the dragon kind of look like the gargoyle, the mono pose.
Yeah. Well, which miniature you want to analyze first?
Let's talk about the wizard.
Well, the wizard was I was skeptic at the beginning, okay, because he's lacking a little bit of the details, and yeah. But after I saw the scout, okay, he actually confirms that the other one is legit. Okay, but if you go and check exactly the wizard, you can see the staff. Okay, is exactly like the classic one.
Yeah.
The pose is like the original artwork in the character card, more or less. Okay, but
Yeah.
it is like a mix between that one. Okay, because they have this particularly the same stuff, but the pose is more the one of the Ashlab campaign.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the Discord. I think it'd be easiest. I didn't do a lot of fancy stuff with like comparing images. I can imagine somebody like like Ash doing a video on this like a week from now, and it's just like, super comparison, zoomed in and all that stuff. But of course, by then the real thing will be out, probably. Guessing.
The best picture you can get for the wizard is posted by Berg.
Berg, yeah, he's good at analyzing.
Yes. I'm working with a phone. He work with a computer for sure.
Yeah,
he's better than me.
Okay, so this is the rumor mill area. So this is, if you're hiding spoilers like Jacer is, poor Jacer. Sorry, Jacer. You're not seeing all this, but that image that you see right there, you guys can see that, the female wizard on screen. This is what the card looked like from the HasLab campaign. So that character has not been released since 2021. I was disappointed in that figure because I thought, it kind of just looks like they took the male wizard and just kind of tweaked the properties a little bit to make it look female. It just was kind of boring. Like, they didn't take any risks to make it look more interesting, or like it could be a different character. I sort of get the idea. It's like, okay, it's what if the wizard was a woman? Like, this is what he would look like, or vice versa. But rather than just saying, oh, there's a male wizard here, and then here's another wizard who happens to be female, maybe dressed differently. But it's not bad. It's just, I thought it was a wasted opportunity. They could have done something more interesting. But there's what the classic wizard looks like. So notice his cape is just, it's not dynamic or anything with the wind. But the plastic figure has it like out to the side, if I remember correctly. It's a little more animated, so to speak. But notice his staff doesn't have the big crescent on the top. See, just like with the elf, with the First Light elf, I immediately thought of the way the figure works. He's got the hand out to the side and the sword out to the side. I'm like, that looks nothing like it. But the two-handed grip, that's how the male elf looks on the character board, that you have at your spot when you're playing as the elf. So it's like, okay, that would be following that sort of same convention. Okay, so Verg posted this image. Looks like it's been cleaned up a little bit. You still don't get a ton of detail. That little stuff on the side, that's just from the figure next to it. And that little bit looks like a piece of sprue that was not completely cut off.
That actually add the authenticity, the little part of the sprue.
Now, if somebody was faking this, yes, they could just have created their own figure and just like added that as a realism detail. But I don't think it's fake. I personally think it's real. I had a suspicion, well, maybe these are just like talisman figures that have been mislabeled. But I looked at all the talisman figures, and there are none of them that look anything close to this. And then, the Frozen Horror Scout, the female Scout, she's got the sword upraised.
Yeah,
just a masculine version.
Focus on the legs and the boots and the armor that cover the knee. You see, it's exactly the same shape.
The shield's been flipped around.
It's the pose and the armor of the top part of the body is different, but the legs practically are identical. Look, even just the void created by the miniature practically have the same shape.
Yeah, I don't have one at hand to just grab and compare. Actually, maybe I do.
Yeah, it also looks like the knight pose too.
The knight with the upraised sword. Yeah. I'm looking at the hilt. The hilt of the male figure is a little more elaborate. Different. It looks like the Kurgan sword, actually.
The part in top is completely different. Yeah. But the legs are the same. So the same laced boots, the same diamond shape with the same rim. This, I don't know, it's called the part of the boots they use around the calf. It's
almost like it's a gator or a spat or something.
Yeah, even the rim over the foot is the same. So it's exactly the same. Even the pose, you see,
they took the same model and they started working with it, but they did more than
they just changed the top,
shrink the chest and bulk out the thighs. Like, they actually did more with it. So I'm looking at my own copy of the female scout, and her sword does have the crossguard is like a kind of a curve. It does like there's two layers of it, but the one in this picture, I mean, it's the top parts are like sticking out. They're like little pokey bits. It makes me think of again the Highlander sword, the Kurgan sword with the daggers that shoot out. And the blade is more smooth in this one, like a pointy diamond, as opposed to the female one has like a tapering blade, like in the middle.
Yes. Well, they made enough work to make it look different. Okay,
It
so
reminds you of it,
right.
but it's the more you look closely, you see new details, and I like that.
Yeah, but since they are mercenary, they look like almost soldier. They have to have parts of the armor that are the same. If you look at all the other mercenary, all have the same boots, all have the same knee pads.
Yeah. I guess when I think of mercenaries, I sort of get this idea that they're, I don't know, like bikers or barbarians. They just have like random pieces of armor just bolted on, and they just like homeless guys with swords. But actually, that's not a very historical thought. I mean, these were like professional soldiers that are retired or they're off duty, or maybe they're in exile, or maybe it's just like, hey, this lord is going to loan you some troops to do stuff. I mean, they have good gear. They have good quality gear.
But
well trained.
In the old the old mercenaries from the 90s, the one from Frozen Horror and Wizard of Morcar, they all have the same uniform. They all have the same armor because they are like Imperial soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I called them Bretonnian, but I guess the Empire and Bretonnia were different in the old world, right? They were separate.
Yeah, they have a different style of armor. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not enough of a Warhammer nerd to pick up on that, but I get what you mean. Well, the plastics were like everything was the same except the hands holding the weapon were like a bolt-on piece that was separate that you could swap out. So you could say he's a scout because he's holding a sword and a shield. He's a swordsman because he got the two-handed sword. Whereas Avalon Hill decided all new sculpts, and they made half of them women, half of them men. Right.
You can see in like in Battle Master, all the Battle Master footmen are like Imperial, and they have all this plume in top of their head. Okay, and there is like a signal. Well, the Bretonnian footman doesn't have like that kind of decoration on the helmet. It's more flat.
Like kind of a cross between like 19th century, I'm going to say it wrong, cuirassiers, cavalry, or like Swiss Guard, like Vatican City, like honor guard kind of thing. Like that's what I think of when I look at the old design. And here they've gone with more of like the Guardian Knight. I mean, they've got like scale armor, they've got no helmets. They've got like that.
Yes, lion. But they had to redesign for HeroQuest. Okay, but they had to keep the idea that they come from the same like group of soldiers.
Yeah, so
with the same gear.
From the Empire, they come from the realm. They're ordered by the king, or they're loyal to the king's friends instead of It's interesting because the heroes in HeroQuest are kind of like Heroes for Hire as well, and yet the lore of it is okay. When you become a champion, you draw other people to yourself, like other people who believe in the cause, and yet they still expect to be paid in gold. So the king is paying you, or the empire is paying you, and you're paying these guys. But I suppose professional soldiers get paid. I mean, they don't fight for free. Even if you're drafted, you get paid. So kind of makes sense. All right. So we've been kind of talking a lot. Jacer, what thoughts do you have about this? Anything more needs to be said? I mean, do you like these designs? Do you think this is disappointing or exciting? Or
I don't think it's too bad, but I also, like I said, I don't know, exactly where it's going to fit in and how it fits in, but it's not far off on anything else.
Yeah.
And the extra wizard makes sense.
Yeah, I was really hoping that would be there. Yeah.
I just don't know if it is a knight or if it's just some other type of fighter class, maybe, so that you still have the 4 heroes, but you don't have a barbarian, or he's a barbarian with a shield to complement the female barbarian from the Frozen Horror. So then you got a male version that's holding a shield.
Well, that does get out an interesting point. Why would they only show the wizard and this particular scout-like character? Why not show all of them?
Because maybe they don't have all of them.
Well,
this is what they get.
It's the other theory, yeah. So whatever fell on the factory floor, whatever they printed out before somebody said, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Stop that!"
These one are the one that get out. They got smuggled out.
Yeah. And again, I'm not praising these people or saying that what they're doing is legal or right, but it does give us information. So yeah, I guess we can't really assume for sure 100% certainty that these are really what we're going to get or really what we think they are. I mean, for all we know, that's not the female wizard and that's not the male scout. It might be some totally different character, but it looks to me personally, it looks enough like it that I'm ready to say, yeah, it is. And I don't know the answers to those other questions, why there isn't a halberdier or a crossbowman or a swordsman in there. I mean, what's missing from the first light lineup roster?
For all we know,
the barbarian's not
be
there.
like,
yeah,
they could be discarded prototypes.
Oh, say that again, Bohemius?
For what we know, could be just discarded prototypes. So they're not the one that make the cut for the production, but they are being produced to test as a prototype. So they are original, yes, but they are prototype. We don't know yet if they are.
So the leg might be pointed the other direction. The staff might be different. It might be small changes that we don't discern.
Yes, maybe they're discarded from the production. We don't know, but for sure they're original.
And what were you saying there?
99%.
Sorry, yeah. And Jace, you said because they're red. Finish that thought.
I said yeah. I said, and then thrown in that it's red, like, you know what I mean, rather than being gray like all the other mercenaries.
Yeah.
Not a big sticking point because they have moved colors around in the past or whatever. But then, like I said, the female wizard, I just thought went towards Wizards of Morcar, maybe throwing us a female wizard or a wizard pack, like, nod to a wizard pack.
Yeah, because I agree with that. Because there was never any indication that we were going to get a female wizard ever. It's just that it was in the HasLab campaign, so a lot of people were like, okay, that's natural, that makes sense, so where's my female wizard? And it was like, we got the one from the elf pack was just a reverse, because originally it was a female elf, but because we got a female by default, it made sense to have a male elf. It's like, okay, you got them both now. The female barbarian was included in the original Frozen Horror, just they made her red instead of blue. Okay. Wizards of Morcar, though, didn't have any female hero. The female heroes were not a part of the European packs. Now, I was about to say every expansion has had a new hero, but not necessarily. I mean, Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord didn't. Of course, the originals didn't. Verg is here. Thanks. Yeah. So it's a cool thing. It's appropriate.
Yeah, but Mage of the Mirror made the elf, right? So we are missing just the dwarf female from maybe another quest.
Yeah, and it's true. We got the Explorer was kind of a dwarf character, and we got a male and female version, and we didn't need to get a male and female Berserker, but we did. So Verg's comment, he says, Kurgan, if you scroll up in Discord, I've removed the background and tried to clean up the colors to see as much details as possible from them, not that it tells anything new. Yeah, I think I covered it, but I can go back to it if you don't think I gave it a fair enough shake there. Let me just... I'm going to swing back to the HeroQuest fans Discord. Rumor mill. Again, this is highly speculative. This is the first bone we've been thrown in a long time. And it's so coincidental because it's like Doug is like, "Oh, can't tell you anything," you know, and Ribby's like, "Sorry." But I think is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. I mean, he doesn't look like he's got any helmet on. It's hard to tell if he's balding or if he's actually bald. He's got the pauldrons. He's got some kind of, I don't know, some kind of like, not a loincloth, but I don't know what you call that cloth thing coming down. It's really hard to see. Like a sash. Got the boots, like you said. It's got the little...
Yeah, I mean, and it does look like the Guardian Knight pose without a cape.
Like you take the helmet off. It's Sir Ragnar. Guys, it's Sir Ragnar. Of course, he was shown with a beard, and this guy doesn't have a beard. Or if he does, it's a really small one. Soul patch or something. I guess it's not... He doesn't look like he's got scale armor on. It looks like he's just wearing just cloth or leather, except for the shoulders, gauntlets, something on the knees. But I'm sure a lot of detail is lost here. We don't know what the shield looks like on the other side, but I mean, it would be a fair guess to say it has a lion symbol. Did you do this? I thought he did the same thing with the wizard one as well. Oh, there's the comparison. The leg pattern.
Yeah, just scroll down
Laced
for
up.
the wizard.
Oh yeah, so you got the knee pads. This looks like Gambison. This like quilted padding.
It is, yeah.
And then you got the boot plate, and you got the why am I forgetting all my armor terms? Pauldrons, and then fan braces. Some armor person can correct me on all that. Is that the first one? I thought I saw another. Verg, didn't you do one of the wizard too? I thought I saw that. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's got the dagger hanging down. Oh, there you can see the hair. It's like definitely like curling down. Not to say a guy can't have hair like that, but that's sort of a stereotypical like female do.
Yeah, it's the belt, not the dagger, but yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's just the fold of the belt coming down.
Yes.
Oh shoot.
Medieval belt didn't it? No, I don't know. It was called the buckle. No, not all of them have they're just like a hoop.
Just tied it in a knot or something.
So they do a knot. Yes.
You got the cape billowing out. Got some nice boots. You got the stick. And this part right here, this sort of almost makes it look like an axe or something, but that's just, I think that's overlapping of the figure next to it. Yeah, that's the flame from the first light wizard just next to it. So, I don't know. I like this better than the mythic one. And it does have sort of that classic illusion. I mean, she had her hand out too, but it was more like, I'm pointing at you because I'm casting the spell that direction. Whereas this is more like, hey, I'm about to do something.
Yeah, the wizard sculpt. I never liked it. The wizard sculpt of the Ashlab campaign, male or female.
Oh, you're right.
They were.
There's the belt. Yeah,
I never liked it.
Belt coming down. I guess there is a buckle, but it's like the excess of the belt. It's just the slack. It's just coming down. And there's a little pouch with a little potion in it. Original wizard didn't have that. He had a proper buckle. He had fancy boots. Yeah. Well, if this is legitimately the scout, then I wonder if we'll get 24 and 4 new sculpts. And I mean, if they'll swap all of them. So I guess the crossbowman was male, so he'd be female now. Halberdier was female, would be male. Swordsman was male, would be female. And then you could partner them up. You could have the red and the gray side by side if you wanted to build a small army. And of course, the stats were completely different than Frozen Horror. Well, we could do an entire video on it, but any other comments before we get into our game? Before we move on?
Well, the implication on the fact that there's a wizard is huge because it's going to change a lot. It's going to tell us the hero in this pack is only the wizard probably, and some people already said that it's going to be like an hybrid of wizard quest pack for that reason.
To make room
because
for
it's going to be
other characters.
Well, it's like to complete the package, no? To complete the Frozen Horror with the Barbarian, and the Mage of the Mirror with the Elf, and now they're going to use this box with the Wizard to concentrate and give something more for the Wizard, even if it's not exactly the same package. I think is huge. Otherwise, we will see like another spellcaster. Remember the interview with Doug. They talk about another kind of spellcaster, but this one doesn't look like another kind of spellcaster. This is the wizard.
Yeah, and the scout. I mean, to Jacer's alternate theory, what if that's not a scout? What if that's some new type of hero? Don't know if it really strikes me as paladin or I don't know. Doesn't look like a ranger. I mean, it could be.
That's why I said it was more of a fighter, but like I said, they just did a berserker. But then it could be, like I said, the barbarian, because the female barbarian had the shield and the sword for. So, like I said, it just could be another style of that. And the same thing with them giving the dwarf a shield.
Yeah. What if you turn the shield around and it's got a big star on it? Like maybe he's like Captain America. He throws the shield. I don't know. Gladiator.
And like I said, it had, like I said, the knight feel, and the knight really only starts with a shield and a short sword anyway.
Was there a character called Pit Fighter, or what am I thinking of? One of these games. Pit
Could
Fighter.
be, or even just fighter, gladiator.
Yeah.
Could be another knight, like a crusader.
Advanced Hero Quest or something.
But I like that the wizard has like the classic wizard pose from like the old school with regular staff, the arm more up in the air like a fist.
Well, and if the High Mage, I mean, we don't know what the new designs will be like for the four sorcerers, how closely they'll mimic the old ones. But I mean, the High Mage had a pointed hat, and he had a big beard, and he had his fingers, 2 fingers out, pose, and then he had a staff with a crescent on the end. And the staff with a crescent on the end was what they decided to give the heroic wizard ever since the HasLab campaign began. So maybe having 2 characters with that same exact kind of staff, one good, one evil, was not what they wanted to do this time. I mean, is that a standard like wizard type weapon, or does it mean anything? I guess if you want it to mean,
it means a lot of stuff.
He likes
okay, if we are talking about the College of Magic of Warhammer, everything on the miniature reflect the lore. And the High Mage, they are in Warhammer. Practically is a mage that can use all the school of magic. Okay. So, to channel the magic, you need different items. So you see the staff is the stuff of the moon could have different symbology, but it is the stuff of I don't remember now. Celestial is the Celestial College, but he also got like a key. On his on his belt, that is from the Bright College, the ring from another college. You have a multitude of symbology that make you think that he's an High Mage because he got different school of magic Okay, showing on the miniature. Of course, Avalon Hill cannot do that because they don't have that kind of lore. They are not following the same lore, so they can use any kind of
Making
symbology.
it up as they go along, yeah.
Yes. Okay, but for example, this wizard doesn't have any staff, any moon. Is it the wizard, or is it like an apprentice wizard, like a mercenary? We don't know yet, but there's the possibility. That's why I want to talk about
like the Wizard
yes.
Quest back.
There's a possibility because, or this one is a Wizard Quest pack. Okay, is it a new version of the Wizard Quest pack, or that one is an apprentice? I don't know which one is the option that I like the most.
Well, the existence of these miniatures to me, again, assuming it's not an elaborate hoax, is that this tells me Avalon Hill is working on these things. They're making these things actively in the factory. And because of this, these bootleggers are scavenging those pieces. So whatever it's intended for, there's a real product coming out. Because they wouldn't have to send these to the factories to make them, right? They could just sculpt them in a house. They could design it on a computer. They could 3D print it. I mean, they could do all kinds of things. But this, to me, says something in production. So whatever it is, it's coming out soon. So if it were a Wizard Quest pack, that would be amazing. That would be fantastic. That'd be awesome. I mean, and Carmine, when he was with the company, was talking as if he downplayed the idea. Like, no. If we did it, we wouldn't do it that way because people don't know about it. It's unfinished. It's broken. We would focus on, something that people expect. People demand a certain level of quality and so on. But if you took the 10 Wizard quests and threw them into Wizards of Morcar, that'd be 15 quests. I mean, that's one less than what Jungles of Delthrak had. And if you take away the 3 solo quests, I mean, that's 12. So it's not that far-fetched. And yes, you would be adding like a half dozen unique sculpts. I'm kind of questioning whether you would have a full complement of like both expansions together, though. And again, why aren't we seeing more of those? But we're only seeing 2 here, so I guess it's not definitive either way. Berg has a couple of comments. Sorry, I may not have heard anything you said beforehand. Well, that's okay. Looks like she has a satchel on her belt. Yeah, it could be. Just like the HasLab art. It's extremely similar to the Mythic. Mostly it looks like the head and staff changed. Well, if that was their goal, to say, as Carmine would have said, maybe there's legal reasons why they can't give you the one-to-one, perfect, exact HasLab stuff after they just got done saying it was exclusive.
Yeah, I think it looks more like a nod to the original.
Yeah. But I'm fine with it being a redesign. I mean, if they just took the HasLab one and just like, okay, they moved the leg, they changed the hand a little bit, and then release it, it's like, that's fine. That'll make, people who missed out happy. But I'd just rather it be an improvement. I mean, it's kind of like with the Druids. Like, yeah, I guess for the people who wanted the old Druid, like, I'm disappointed that they didn't get it. But we get a better looking Druid, in my opinion. A tweaked Druid. An improved Druid. Yeah. Although I think the HasLab female dwarf and female barbarian looked pretty cool, and I wouldn't mind seeing those come back. So if they can find a way to get them back in, that would be awesome. All right. Have we taken up enough time on this topic? Should we move on? Or any closing thoughts?
Not that I can think right now.
Still in shock. And Jagasu, since you joined us late, did you get a chance to see the leak photo? And did you have any thoughts you wanted to share about it before we close here?
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have a few minutes,
Yeah, of course. I have.
Okay. Okay, so Wizards of Morcar we've been talking about a lot, and there was a
Yeah.
picture. It appeared on. It was on Facebook, but it was purporting to be from AliExpress, where a lot of these like bootleg figures have appeared for HeroQuest. And here, let's show you what we saw. Okay, why is it not? All right, let me just get the image back again. So I did a quick video about it, kind of a half-baked reaction. Where is it? There we go. That's the image that we saw.
All right. Okay. Those are what? Those are. Oh, there's a. Oh, old wizard with the new one. That's a confusing picture.
Yeah. So it's fun having you react to it in real time. So the one on the far left, we've never seen before.
Yeah.
The ones in the middle are First Light, and the one on the end is First Light.
Yeah.
This other one we haven't seen before either.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
already
It's
speculation.
it's a older version of the from the older version of the HeroQuest game, but it's on a round base.
Mhm.
It was on a square base.
Yep.
On an older version, but exactly the same. Exactly the same. Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
But it's kind of made like new.
Yep.
Like tweaked a little bit and made it more modern.
Yep. Let's take a look at some of the. I know this is a rehash for some people, but I think it's still fun. So I'm going to go into the rumor mill section of HeroQuest Fan Discord. What have I missed? Says Fairweatherman. Yeah, he'll have a video out. His will be higher production values than mine. That's just the way he rolls. Okay, so we look at the female wizard, and there is this suspicion that, see, there's the old wizard art. Looks very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
So this was Verg. He tried to clean it up a little bit. So you get, longer hair, maybe a little bit of a bosom there. So we're thinking female wizard. Maybe this means we finally get a retail version of the female wizard. Again, assuming this is legitimate, which I think it is. One of the speculations was maybe Wizards of Morcar will have a hero in the box, and what more could be natural than to have a wizard, and it could be a female wizard. So maybe that's what this is. The little belt, the way it folds, we were thinking that is very reminiscent of the artwork, because if you look at the classic wizard, okay, you don't have any fancy belt stuff, right? But the staff looks the same.
No.
But then check this out. From the HasLab campaign, she's got this little thing here, this little pouch. Now the staff is totally different, of course. It's got the longer hair. Maybe.
So the Wizard of Morcar is not out yet.
Right. It's not.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
This figure kind of, Verg tried to clean it up. So you got the sword positioned up here, got the shield in the back, but it looks a lot like, as Bohemius was pointing out, the female scout from the Frozen Horror remake. Very similar. The way the feet are placed, the pose, very similar. Now the shield is flipped to the back, of course. One other thing I was looking at, so if you've seen Highlander, you remember the Kurgan sword has the daggers that pop out of the crossguard. You can't really see it well in this picture. I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is the scout from the Frozen Horror, if I can get close enough. So you see a little bit of that detail. on the sword.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see those things poking out.
Yeah, but it's even more pronounced if you look at the card art. Doesn't that kind of remind you?
Yeah,
I mean, you got the tapering of the blade there. That's different.
yeah,
But still, very close. So it's
very
like,
close.
okay, maybe it's the same character, maybe it's similar. I mean, Wizards of Morcar had the mercenaries that you could hire. 92, the first time. I think it was the first time for Europeans that you guys got those. So maybe the stats are different, but still. Yeah. So
Wait, it will be a wait.
yeah. Well, Spiel Essen is October 23rd, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now. And that's coincidentally the date when the review embargo, which they accidentally told everybody existed. Because when HeroQuest Italia was doing their presentation of the Wizard Quest pack prequel quest that Luca Posky wrote, they got a notice from Hasbro saying, you guys know the review embargo hasn't ended yet. And they were like, doesn't end until the 23rd. And they're like, well, we weren't even talking about that. It's like, oops. So that makes us think, okay, for all we know, people have Wizards of Morcar already. Like some influencers or reporters have it already, and they just can't say anything about it. But as soon as that convention happens, yeah, they'll probably show it at the convention. There'd be no other reason to hold it back, right? So we don't know what they've been told, though. I mean, when First Light was being shown by one of those influencers, if you remember, like he just said, "Oh well, I can't reveal what's in this quest book, but he did this." And as he was flipping through it, like people were freeze framing and going, "Oh, okay, there's that page, and oh, we can see it, we can zoom in, we can see." So I'm just imagining like a day of that kind of stuff. So I'm excited, and it speaks to one of the theories that we had, which was some people were afraid, including myself. Well, what if they just decide to go cheap on us and make it, Mercenaries cardboard, or what if they just give us the same exact figures as before? But the fact that it's in red, I think, is good because that's how the original was. I like that. And if it's a different sculpt, I mean, this implies that the others would be different as well, right? So if they swap it male and female with each of them, you'd have like a matching set at the end. So
well, definitely, it will be worth the wait.
I think so, absolutely.
But the main thing for me is I hope that they will, if they release it, they will release make the when the original HeroQuest when I got my order here, then I opened it up, then all the characters were like bent, and all the swords were bent and everything, and it all looks so ugly. I hope they will improve this in the future, like the compound of the plastics or whatever they have to improve to make them look a bit better.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I don't know how many of the expansions you own or have looked at, but I think that process is already beginning. Because you're right, there absolutely was some quality control issues. Like pieces were badly glued, they were bent up, like you said. They were in those really tight, I call them the candy trays. You had to yank them out of that plastic, and they were just crammed in there. The packaging has improved quite a bit. So like they re-released the game system in 2022, and the figures were very loosely in there. Like you didn't have to apply force to get them out. They had like a little clear layer that kind of like held them in there. I think most of the sets have done that. Usually it's like the figure that's right in the center is tight, but the rest are pretty loose, so they're not as bent. And Jungles of Delthrak, I think the plastic is a little more stiff. It's a little less bendy. I know that's a preference thing, but I think there's some better. So I think I think you won't have to worry in that area. Now these bootlegs, that if you were to get them from the AliExpress person, whoever they are probably not not of that quality. But you never know. I'm with you though. I hope that they go all out. I hope that it's worth the price. I've even said, listen, I don't know what the tariff situation is like now, but if it meant that to get the same level of quality, it had to be like $50 instead of $45, I would pay it. Like, I would think it would be worth it. 60 is pushing it. I mean, that's more. Let's see. First Light was closer. No. First Light was 50. 60 is more like Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, which is a similar size box, totally different company. That only had 5 plastic characters in it, but that was, I mean, it was a heavy box. It had a lot in it. Or so did First Light.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice if it was just 45. I'd prefer to pay 45, but if it was a little more, I'd still do it. I've also said, I mean, if they make the stuff domestically and it costs more, I wouldn't like refuse to buy it. I would get it. So.
In my opinion, despite the quality, everything else, despite the quality of the miniatures, everything else is really cool. Like always has been like the expansions and everything. It's for me. I think it's very cool what they've done. It's all game and the way they made it again is it's cool. It's cool. Well, I think I have only the main system, but I've seen the expansions too. On the internet, and I have them here in my country sold, and I think they are worth the price. But I haven't had a chance to get those yet.
Okay, and forgive me once again if you said already where you were from. Where do you hail from? You don't mind
no problem. In my country we say that if you have to repeat things, then you will eventually get smarter.
There you go.
So I'm from Estonia.
Estonia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to remember. Was that one of the countries that had HeroQuest back in the day, or was it? Or was this?
Yeah. We had. Back in the day, I think we didn't have, but in Finland we had it.
Oh,
since
yeah.
My father bought it from Finland when he was working there, and he brought it back home, and he translated everything on it into Estonian, and so we managed to play it like several times.
Very cool.
And it was quite some fun, and that's where I was like, I have to get this game, and so my father has a full set of the original old game.
Very nice. Well, there's a lot of stories out there of dads on business trips bringing HeroQuest back because the home country didn't have it. So it's just kind of a cool thing. Yeah, and the translation. Yeah, that's extra effort. That's great. Cool.
Yeah,
and now you get to experience it again. Yeah.
Yeah, and before I bought the new version, I made an entire game out of paper and cardboard, and made those miniatures and ordered some dice from eBay and AliExpress, and made it like complete. But before I could like finish it, I somehow someone stole it.
Okay, this is sounding familiar.
Yeah, someone like stole it, and I was like, "Fuck! How? Where? Why? Like, why?" It's it was almost a ready game. I had all the missions, quests on it, and it was really, really cool. I even had the chance to play it with some friends.
Yeah.
anyways, it was really really fun. I spent like 60 euros building it.
Well, I hope whoever has had your ill-gotten set changes their ways.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe they'll pay it forward in a good way. It's like, yeah, you should
Well,
get
well,
on eBay and see if you can see it.
yeah, well, he's a what one lucky motherfucker, I can tell.
Right, we'll edit that out, but yeah, I get the idea. All right, yeah, that's not a good trick to play on a friend or even a stranger. Well, appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Okay, well, I guess we continue to wait for Wizards of Morcar. It's really cool to play with you all as always. Sad to say that we won't be having a live stream next weekend or the following weekend. So we're taking a little break. So the 24th, 25th, you'll just have to do other things. And the 31st is Halloween, so I'll be trick-or-treating with my niece probably. And on the 1st as well, doing other things. But I still, on the Tuesdays that are coming up, so my work schedule hasn't changed. So the 21st and the 28th, I'm hoping to do something with Strange Bus. Maybe we'll try to do that game book reading that we talked about. In the past, we read spooky books or played spooky games on the Rantcast podcast. But anyway, that's the plan. So just check the schedule if you want. But yeah, we will have to start again in November 7th with Against the Ogre Horde and Jungle's Delthrak once again. All right, and we'll plug the things we usually plug. So I saw Grimlore in here earlier. Zargon Goes On and On. Check it out on YouTube. Warbuilder J22 or 22J for Jacer on YouTube. Ribby is at Bourbon and Board Games. I know he was on earlier another time. And let's see. You guys have anything else you want to plug at this time? HeroQuest related? Or you got any channel you wanted to share?
Check the HeroQuest channel if you haven't already. That's a really nice place.
Oh, which one? Mine or one of the other ones?
Yeah, all the channels, like
Oh yeah.
where the main channel and your channel, of course.
Yep.
There's so much things you can find, and also don't forget Yeldin.
Yep.
That's one of the greatest places.
Yep, I still love Yielden. I post there regularly. I don't post on like the Facebook groups or Instagram or Reddit, but I know there's people that hang out in those places exclusively. Hey, whatever you prefer. But yeah, there's a few other Discord communities. There's Mentor Study. There's just HeroQuest. I think that's the one where people play Tabletop Simulator. The Amalgam Archive, where Amalgam Ash hangs out. That's AshQuest on YouTube. He's got a large community. There's a few other places. There's some places like in Telegram. Yeah, I couldn't name them all, but I mean, there's ones that are like not English speaking. So there's like a French community. There's Italian. There's Spanish. I'm sure there's a German one too, probably. But yeah, we keep it going. So my personal opinion is, and I have a feeling that they're going to continue making HeroQuest even after this Wizards of Morcar comes out. Some people are saying this is probably going to be it. Like they've wound down to this point, and maybe they're thinking, hey, go out on a high note. And I mean, there'd be nothing wrong with that. You know, if they're looking for an end point, this would be fitting if they did it. The last box that most people remember. I hope they don't. I don't think it will. I don't predict it will. I mean, I think they've shown that they can create new things and have them appeal to people. But all things come to an end, so I guess we'll just wait and see whether it's successful and whether it keeps on going or what. And I've said before a million times, even if they made a decision like no more new expansions, that doesn't mean they can't keep selling the old ones, right? It wouldn't have to go completely out of production. I feel like Hasbro at any time could decide they want to just end the franchise, but I think it would be short-sighted if they did that. I feel like it's just getting started. Like, as far as a lot of people are concerned, it's just getting started. Like, it's just coming into retail stores. A lot of people are still waking up to the fact that, oh, HeroQuest is actually back. Like, I can actually buy it. It isn't just some obscure thing that I have to go on eBay looking for. So, hopefully they don't make a decision like that and just cut it off. But we haven't heard anything official.
Well,
And I think Doug has said we'll just keep on doing it as long as we can. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
yeah, the community is growing day by day. All the board game communities are gaining some popularity every day. It's a growing community. It's really cool.
Yeah.
To see that we're still
Yep.
we're still holding on to these old games and bringing them up front.
Yep.
This is very, very cool. And HeroQuest is one of those games that is so simple, and because of that, you can play it however you want.
Yep. There's so much you can do with it.
Yes, that's right.
So that's from Ribby. He 3D printed that for me. It's got a magnet. I've got it sticking to my lamp. Well, and a lot of people, I know this. We got to wrap things up, and I got to get to bed. But I'll just say this: I know a lot of people have said, "Hey, the board game industry has suffered a lot lately. They made a lot of bad decisions, and the tariff thing happened, and COVID is over, and so people are like not playing as many board games. They claim. Well, it's not that they're not playing them; it's just that they're not buying as many. But then you also have the growth of 3D printing. So I think whatever happens in the industry is kind of secondary to the fact that a lot of people want to play these games and make these games, and if they just have to print it themselves and play with their friends, they will. So regardless of what Hasbro does or doesn't do, we'll keep it going as long as we want to. And yes, people who realize the creative potential of these games and maybe realize that, hey, you don't have to wait for the company to tell you what to do when it comes to your game and how you want to play it. The more people realize that, the more it can flourish. So yeah, the fans will keep it going regardless. So cheer up. Don't worry. But yeah, hopefully they knock it out of the park with Wizards of Morcar, and it shows that industry-wise it is still worth supporting. Yep. All right. Okay, well, thanks again, guys, for playing. Good game, everybody. And we can see who we can raid. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
it was short, but it was fun.
Good. Yeah, sometimes I worry. It's like our streams are so long. I'm like, oh man, people are gonna think I gotta show up for the full 3 hours. Nah, or the full 2 hours. You just come and go, whatever you want to do. We'll fit you in if we can. All right.
Yeah, you're the. I think you're the only one, I think, who actually streaming it regularly, like playing it.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how regularly he does it, but the Smoking GM, I've seen him do quite a few HeroQuest games. He does them on YouTube, though, mostly. I think he does it on Twitch as well. But he uses Tabletop Simulator, and then Danu Eldivel, he doesn't do his in English, but he knows a little bit of English. But he's streamed quite a bit. Of course, usually it's like we're on opposite schedules, so I don't get to see him or raid him. But I think there's a few other people. I just don't know how.
Right.
I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, so I'm not always seeing what necessarily they're doing. But it's not as lonely as it used to be.
Yeah. Anyways, good job. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Anyway.